some of the most individual sports stars clubbed together? Well, a melting pot of history, tension, rivalry, friendship and elite stories. Here are some of the best off-camera anecdotes from the right. Lou Roll. The protagonist, Lee Westwood's former caddy, Billy Foster, set in a toilet cubicle at the Belfry. As he went to relieve his two cubicles had Lou Roll, and while he was seated, in came a tiger into the empty cubicle, and he realised his mistake all too late. So Foster took some paper, reached under the cubicle with a rescue offering, and as Tiger went to take it, Foster uttered the words, "Europe, one up." As it happened, Europe did go on to win. Fast forward 10 years to the miraculous Medina, when, after a gruelling Saturday, Rory McIlroy overslept on the Sunday and was in danger of missing his tee time. Thankfully for him, the person booking player transport was Erica Stoll. She sorted him a police escort to the course. 3 years later, McIlroy proposed in Paris. The next story is told by Scottish legend Sam Torrance about the great Seve, who apparently despised the Americans mainly because of a diminutive US reporter who kept calling him Steve.
Hey, my name is Severiano or Seve. There's no Steve, huh? There's no Steve. Next day, Steve.
Torrance also tells of how Seve regularly gave coaching clinics to his European teammates, but a week later, Seve would tell them to and see you next year. Having started with a Billy Foster story, let's finish with one from the 12th tee at Oakland Hills in 2004. It was Jimenez and Garcia. Finished, Foster decided to jump in the buggy and speed away with all their clubs, only to lose control entirely and tumble onto the course and see it careering towards the spectators. Thankfully, the red, with viewers and clubs still intact.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, no, good afternoon, everybody. One of those late ones. It is the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max Rushden and Barry Glendenning between now and 2 p.m. Barry, as the jingle just said, are you hungry for football?
I'm very hungry for football, Max. I'm actually quite hungry for food as well.
Okay. Would you like a
ham? That'd be nice.
Ham and cheese croissant.
Bit of tomato, maybe.
Oh, ham and cheese
lightly
and tomato
salted.
croissant. Lightly salted. Anything else?
No,
it
that'll
keeps
do.
this. You started simple, and now it's getting complicated. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? We're in the room together.
Yes.
We're live on the YouTube. I've just seen the sort of wide shot that they've had. It does make us look a little dumpy.
Well, I am quite dumpy.
Well, you are quite dumpy, but what's interesting is you doesn't help listeners at all, but radio isn't for listeners anymore. But yeah, the wide shot, maybe I am dumpy. Maybe have I put on weight? You haven't seen me for a year.
Not a few more crow's feet around the eyes. I mean, I have been to there being 10,458 miles between us as we broadcast.
Yeah. But it's
today
so seamless.
I can't quite touch. If I lean slightly to my left, I can touch you.
Yeah.
It's a very intimate environment.
It is.
Intimate, claustrophobic. I don't know.
Which do you prefer? Do you prefer me being 10,000 miles away?
We'll see. It is slightly discombobulating, the fact that we are in this quite small room. I can hear a tapping noise.
Is it you? Is it you?
Right, someone's tapping.
Well, it's interesting you say that. It could be Paul Ross or someone, because this is the studio. There's some jeopardy to this show.
Yes.
In that the door of the studio is broken. And if at any point one of us shuts the door, we'll be locked in.
For the day.
For the day.
Possibly
maybe
forever.
Forever. And if we are locked in forever, we have to broadcast forever.
Oh.
So it could be the longest ever talkSPORT. I know our shows feel long anyway, but this could be the longest ever show in the history of talkSPORT. So the tapping could be someone who's been locked in since the overnight show.
Yeah.
Who does overnights on a Saturday night?
Is the fishing guy?
Is it the fishing man? I don't think that we can't do fishing again.
Oh.
It's you.
It's
you're
not me.
tapping. I think you're tapping. Everyone be quiet. Everyone be quiet. Find out where the
I don't know if the listeners can hear the tapping, but there is a
You
definite...
put your hands up like somebody is like coming in with a gun. It's like, right. Every time you move, Barry, I'm saying it's you. Barry's the tapper, everybody. If that's helping your audio experience, God, it's really tough for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've put you on because normally you're on the squeaky chair, the Darren Goff squeaky chair. But now they've put you on the tapping chair.
Right. Okay.
I don't think it's part of your body, but I don't know. Have you noticed this in other parts
not
of
in
life?
other
When you're
spheres
walking down
of
the
my
street,
existence.
do you go, I tap, 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 tap?
Well, look, quite apart from the
You've
tapping,
got all the buttons.
I don't have any buttons, do I?
Well, this is a risk, isn't it? They're over there, Barry. Don't touch the button. We don't know what the buttons
Yeah, well, you
do.
went to sit in my... Look, 'cause this is very boring for people who can't see
But
what's
they're
going
used to the show. They know that. They know what this is. We don't have to announce it's boring. They're regular listeners. The show's been going for 13 years. You don't have to preface anything with this is very boring. They know that.
I have plans for today. I do not want to be locked in this room with you. Indefinitely.
The thing is, I have obviously 2 young children who are just
Yeah,
getting
you
over,
never mention them at
they're
all.
just getting over jet lag. Getting locked in this room for 12 hours would not be a
Oh,
disaster.
you'd be okay.
No, as long as there was a way of getting us some sustenance, then actually would not be a disaster for me.
Well, how do you think they're going to get a sustenance if they can't open the door?
I don't know. Maybe
It's
there's
not
a
like
chute.
a prison cell. They don't have a hatch that they slide a tray in.
There must be a chute in here somewhere. Anyway, it is Max and Barry with you until 2 this afternoon. We'll obviously cover everything that matters. The Euros final, England versus Spain. We'll do some transfer stuff. What else are we going to do? You'll tell us about the Tour de France. I mean, you went on a family holiday to Nova Scotia.
I did, yes.
Yeah, and you ended up just sitting on your own watching every minute of the Tour de France.
Pretty much.
Why did you talk to your family?
I did talk to my family, and my sister lives in Nova Scotia, and myself and my mother went over to visit her. Mother's still there. I came home.
Right.
We didn't fall out. That was the plan.
Okay, good.
But my sister lives in Nova Scotia is, I would say, quite a remote area of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And
Canada's pretty remote anyway,
yes,
isn't it?
so Canada's quite remote.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia is quite remote.
Yeah. I envisage...
And my sister lives in quite a remote area of this area.
I envisage that show Alone on Netflix, where you are thrust into the wilderness and you have to build your own shelter and start a fire, and then the only way you can survive is by killing a moose and then, curing its meat. And
while watching the Tour de France on a tablet.
Yeah. I mean, that is a different part of the show. Yeah, just while checking how Pogacar's getting on in the mountain stage. How was the Tour de France then, Barry?
It's been very good. It's more or less been over for the last 10 days, but the stages have been quite interesting, very toughly fought. The riders are quite clearly exhausted, as you would be too if you'd cycled about 4,000 kilometres in 20 days.
Do you?
But it ends today, Max,
okay.
on the Champs-Élysées.
And do you think it would be more exhausting to cycle the Tour de France or to take a 6-month-old on a flight from Perth to London, and a 6-month-old who did not want to miss a minute of his first ever long-haul flight?
Excellent. How was that?
Oh, my God. It was absolutely terrible. Like, absolutely. It was a disaster. It happened, but he was so eager to see every part of that aeroplane. And there was one moment where...
How eager can a 6-month-old be to do anything apart from eat, not sleep?
Listen,
or
there are things it should do. Eat, defecate, vomit, and sleep. And he did the first 3 with aplomb. Right. And the last one, he didn't do. There was a moment where there was a tiny bed at the back of the plane where I could shut a curtain and sit in some cabin crew seat. One of those sort of the ones with the 2 straps. And you're not meant to sit there. It was so dark. And I could get him down there. But then I'd get him down, and I couldn't move. But I was desperate for the toilet and very thirsty. And at one point, Mrs. Rushden walked past me, just say, "Hey, is everything okay?" And I went, "Yeah, thanks." She kept on walking, but I couldn't shout to say, "Could you take over? I need the loo." She just walked off, a bit like when you're on a desert island and the boat goes past and you're like, "Hello, Mayday!" And it was just like that, just watching this person disappear, and then I was stuck.
Do you think she did it on purpose?
I don't. She doesn't listen to this show.
I know.
So, yes, I absolutely do.
On the subject of flights, by the way, when I flew to Nova Scotia, Halifax Airport, Stanfield Airport, I was sitting beside a very nice bloke from Sheffield called Christopher.
Hello,
Christopher Aldred.
Yes.
Hello, Christopher Aldred.
Yeah.
And then when I flew back from Halifax, guess who I was sitting beside?
It wasn't Christopher Aldred.
It was Christopher Aldred. Only Christopher Aldred from Sheffield.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? What are the odds?
That is unlikely, isn't it?
He got on the plane, came down to see. We had extra leg room as well. We were sitting by the emergency door. And that was what he said. He just took one look at me and went, "What are the odds?" I don't think he looked disappointed. We had quite a good chat on the way over.
And did you have the right discipline of, this is time to talk, now it's time to watch a movie?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good.
He was watching... What was he watching? He was watching a movie with... who's the actor? Bane...
Tom Hardy.
He was watching a movie with Tom Hardy. I had movie envy, actually.
What were you watching?
I was watching Slow Horses.
Oh, that's good.
So I've seen the first 2 episodes of Slow Horses. And while I did have movie envy, because Christopher seemed to be enjoying the Tom Hardy movie, if you are listening, Christopher, you're probably getting a shock here to find yourself being discussed on talkSPORT.
Did he know who you were?
Why would he know who I am?
Because this is a big show.
Well, I asked him if he was a Wednesday fan, and I don't think Christopher was a Sheffield Wednesday, or much of a football fan, but his wife apparently is from a big Wednesday family.
Right. So they could be listening.
They could be listening.
Christopher Aldred's in-laws.
Yeah, the Aldred in-laws could be listening. So, I don't know if you've ever had that on a plane. You get movie envy because the person sitting next to you seems to be enjoying their movie more than you're enjoying your Slow Horses.
You couldn't switch.
Well, I could have asked him what he was watching, but then I'd have
broken.
There's constant spoilers to my right.
Yeah, that's true. Well, listen, you're very welcome. Everyone is welcome to the show, but mainly the Aldred in-laws.
Yes. Well, Christopher Aldred, the Aldred family, and the Aldred in-laws.
Of course. And
who are probably having a tough time at the moment, because I believe, I'm not fully up to speed on what's going on Sheffield Wednesday.
It's not great, yeah.
Not great.
It isn't great. But hopefully this 2 hours will make you feel slightly better in the knowledge that a show is dedicated to you, even though you have no interest probably in it. But the odds are slim.
They've got to be
because it's a big plane. It's the same
slim.
flight. It's obviously unlikely, but it's possible you'd be on the same flight. And
we knew we were going to be on the same flight because I asked him how long he was staying. He said, "Oh, I'm coming back Thursday week," and I said, "Oh, so am I." So we presumed we'd be on the same flight.
Yeah.
But sitting next to each other
What are the odds? Well, we'll take those text topics when you have turned to someone and said, "What are the odds?" That's a good question, isn't it? Let us know. 81089, please, at Max Rushden.
Yeah. Also, the text, what is this tapping noise? Really, it's bugging me.
Is one of you in this studio tapping away, and we need to know what it is.
Like a woodpecker.
Yeah. Are you a woodpecker?
Canadian wildlife, by the way. Didn't see any bears, but did see signs warning about the presence of black bears.
Okay.
So that was quite, even when I went for a walk, it was quite stressful. I saw a porcupine and never seen one before.
Okay.
Not unlike a Shih Tzu dog in appearance, and heard a woodpecker.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, if you ever turned to someone and said, "What are the odds?" If you've ever seen a woodpecker or a porcupine,
and if you know what this tapping noise is, and how to stop it.
Your porcupine anecdotes. 8:29. It's Max and Barry here on the warm up. Susie Rack and Carrie Dunn will join us, both women's football experts, of course, and we'll look ahead to the Euro final in just a second.
You know, when Italy scores a goal, like that's their mentality. They just build up a wall and they're very dangerous in the counter-attack.
And Jurang is there. Can she put it in? She does! England's teenage sensation, the comeback queen, have done it!
19 years old, the composure in that moment to not just snap at it.
To put England in the final. Kelly save! Kelly there again. It's in! England 2, Italy 1. This is just extraordinary.
You know the phrase, back from the brink. These Lionesses are reinventing that word.
Serena Wiesman's team are through to the Euro 2025 final.
Commentary tonight then, 5 o'clock kickoff of the Euros final, England versus Spain. You're listening to the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max and Barry with you until 2. Just on the subject of what are the odds, as Barry was sat next to the same person, Christopher Aldred, on the outgoing and returning flight to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Daniel says, speaking of what are the odds, in Atlantic Canada, 1 month ago I had surgery in a Prince Edward Island hospital and chatted with a Buddhist monk in the emergency department for hours. 3 weeks later, when I had complications and had to return, lo and behold, the same Buddhist monk was waiting in the emergency department. There are Buddhist monks in Atlantic Canada. Solar 1889. Let us know. Hi, Max and Barry. I called Synergy here in Western Australia to make a complaint. This is Jordan. And the person who took my call in customer services was a girl I went to school with in Cornwall 25 years ago. What are the odds?
Wow.
Keep those going, please. 1889 at Max Rushden. Let's talk to Carrie Dunn, author of many books about women's football, including Flying the Flag, a researcher into women's sport as well. Hey, Carrie, you okay?
I'm good, thank you. Bit nervous, but otherwise okay.
Yes.
So just to be clear, Carrie, are you nervous about being in the presence of Max and I, or nervous ahead of tonight's game?
Not so much about you, although obviously, always anxious about that kind of thing. But no, most nervous about the game tonight.
Yeah. How do you see it going?
Well, I think it's going to be very, very close. Obviously, Spain are a fantastic team, and England have ridden their luck a little bit, I think, throughout the tournament. But I think they can do it. I think England can do it, but I think it'll be very close by 1 goal, maybe extra time, hopefully not pens.
Because, I mean, sort of a lot of people at the start of this tournament were basically saying who is going to get to the final to lose to Spain. That's kind of been the narrative. But have we seen, the way Germany played against them in a couple of earlier games, that there are ways to get at them?
Absolutely. I don't think Spain are necessarily as good as they were in 2023. I think certainly the Germany match showed how Spain can be kept at bay. I do think if England set the attack up properly, I think that Spain defence isn't impregnable. I think they can certainly get some goals. But then again, we saw it in England semi-final. If the way that Italy set up their defence, they can absolutely the attack can be blocked out too. So I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be cagey, but yeah, I hope England can do it.
If you were, excuse me, Carrie, if you were in Serena Wiegmann's shoes, would you continue as you were with Chloe Kelly and Michelle Aguimang on the bench, or will you start them? This seems to be the big question ahead of this match.
I think if I, as me, were in charge, I'd probably play Kelly and Aguimang. But if I was Serena Wiegmann and you ask me what I think Serena will do, I think she'll just stick with the same team and use Kelly and Aguimang off the bench. She doesn't like changing her starting 11. She doesn't like mixing things up. She never has done. We've seen that through previous tournaments. Obviously, she's made the change with Esme Morgan coming in for Jess Carter last time out. And at the start of the tournament, she brought in Ella Toone to start instead of Beth Mead. But yeah, unless she has to, she doesn't change that starting 11.
No. So why would you change? I mean, she's got to 5 consecutive major finals, Carrie.
Exactly. I don't know anything. I'm not Serena Wiegmann. Just let her do what she does. She knows much more than any of us, and possibly all of us put together. Yeah. I'll leave her to it.
But there is an interesting thing. We were chatting about it on Friday about when she makes the changes, and it felt like me yelling at Gareth Southgate in the last whatever it was Euros. The same when you're going, just change the bloody thing. And actually, it's if you do it after 60 minutes, say, are the opposition, say Italy, are not knackered enough for the chaos to work, right? And it's a bit oversimplifying to say, Chloe Kelly and Michelle Aguimang are just chaos because they're really good footballers. But it is slightly different. It is a bit more kitchen sink. Are you better off waiting until late so that the opposition think, oh, we're nearly done? So psychologically they think they're there, but also physically they are knackered. And then that's when it can make a big difference.
Yeah, I think absolutely. That is part of it. It was pretty late on against Italy, wasn't it? I was starting to think there's not enough time left for the chaos to unfold properly. But I think also England quite like that kind of desperation, that backs against the wall mentality. I think when the pressure is on, they tend to respond really, really well. So perhaps that's the thinking. The more the clock ticks down, the more likely they are to claw it back.
Yeah, and is that what they mean by proper English? Because they keep coming off and saying that was proper English. And it's almost like they said, we need to come up with a thing that everyone says without really explaining what the thing is. So I mean, there are lots of views of what proper English could mean, but what do you think it means in the context of the Lionesses?
I think it's determination. I think it's never giving up as well. I mean, I think the Lucy Bronze penalty and then the Chloe Kelly penalty, that was absolutely proper English. I think that's kind of encapsulating it. But yeah, I think, determination, backs against the wall, never give up, never say die, we're never beaten kind of attitude.
Before this tournament, I was worried that there might be sort of the England camp might have been an unhappy camp. My personal theory, which seems to be nonsense, no surprise there, was that some of the players were getting a little bit too big for the boots. But I suppose, do you think, say, the likes of Millie Bright and Mary Earps will be sitting at home watching this game tonight going, oh, I really wish I hadn't sort of withdrawn from the squad or made myself unavailable for selection?
I hope not, and I don't think so. I mean, obviously, Millie Bright, there were issues around whether she was physically and psychologically able to get through a tournament. I think everyone kind of appreciates that. I mean, looking at Mary Earps on her social media, it's obvious that she's really, really been supporting the team throughout. And so she wasn't number one anyway. She was going to be in the squad, but not kind of playing. So, no, I hope not. I hope everyone who wasn't selected for the squad, but was just kind of on the periphery, knows how much they've done to get England to where they are now. I mean, this level of consistent success across years is huge, and everyone's contribution needs to be valued.
Yeah, as someone who has covered this, women's sport for such a long time, are we almost getting to the stage where people at the end of interviews don't go, and what does this mean for the women's game? Like, it's almost got to the stage where that is no longer a valid question to ask.
I hope so. I mean, it is. I guess it is a little bit tiresome that we still have to have these conversations, like putting things into context. What can this mean? What could happen next? And I think we're starting to get there. People are enjoying women's football for what it is. They're enjoying the matches for being football rather than thinking, oh, aren't the girls doing so well? Well done to them. So, yeah, I mean, that consistency across tournaments, that level of engagement across tournaments, that people know who these players are. Yeah, hopefully we are now on the brink of not having to ask that question anymore.
Sure. And also, we are at a stage now where if England are garbage, like they were against France, it can be said without anyone sort of thinking... Like there has been, I think, in the past, a kind of slightly different way that it's covered, and it can be a sort of the people who cover the game are champions of the game as well, and so sort of feel slightly nervous about being critical. And actually, that's a key part of analysis and a love of the game, right? Is to say this was great and this was terrible, and now you can say actually England haven't been great this tournament, and there have been games where they've been pretty lucky, I think.
Yeah, I think constructive criticism is always helpful in sport, and I think. I hope that we do keep getting that in women's football. But the thing that does concern me is that we don't often get constructive criticism outside kind of the immediate women's football circle. What you get is, this bad match by this team means that all women's football is terrible, or this player had a bad game, therefore no women can play football. And so, yeah, it can go too far, I think.
The footballers of Spain, they won the World Cup. Their celebrations were not just hijacked, but ruined by the controversy that followed with Rubiales planting that kiss on Jenny Hermosa. That really ruined what should have been a brilliant time for them. Would you begrudge them a win tonight if they do end up beating England?
I wouldn't begrudge Spain a win. If they beat England, then they beat England, and they were the best team in Europe, best team in the world, and they will thoroughly deserve it. And yeah, you're absolutely right. They had their moment taken from them 2 years ago, so I'm sure that's additional motivation for them. But I still want England to win. What can I say?
Let's talk about some of your books. You wanted to talk about Flying the Flag, Footballer and Heroines of the Home Nations Who Made History Abroad. Tell us about it.
So it's the story of female footballers in the UK before the turn of the millennium who basically packed up their bags and went overseas to play. So not necessarily professionally, they weren't necessarily getting any money for it, but they went to countries where women's football was given more respect. So obviously this is a time when the ban had only just been lifted in England and across the British Isles, so women could play on football pitches. I think one of my favourite stories that relates to today's match is Jeannie Allott, one of the original Lionesses in 1972, ended up leaving England and going to the Netherlands, where one of her teammates was a very young Serena Wiegman at KFC 71. So when Serena talks about the history of the Lionesses and the fact that they stand on the shoulders of giants, I like to think that that's partly driven by the fact that she knew that Jeannie had left England and given up her England career to pursue football in the Netherlands because there was just a better place for women to be playing sport.
Carrie, stay where you are. It is Max and Barry here on talkSPORT. We'll carry on looking ahead to the final of the Euros, England versus Spain. Of course, commentary on talkSPORT at 5 o'clock this afternoon.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Good afternoon, you're listening to Warm Up on talkSPORT. Max and Barry with you until 2. Richard Leeds says, I was at the recording of Heat 2, Series 3 of Gladiators on Thursday at Sheffield Arena, Awuga, along with 5,000 others. 5,000 people, blimey. As I got back into my car in the car park upon leaving, who should be parked next to me other than the lovely gentleman I've been sat next to in our randomly allocated seats for the last 8 hours? What are the odds? So filming of Gladiators takes 8 hours.
Oh, I'd say at least.
There's a lot of moving that stuff about.
Moving stuff about, retakes.
Must be the most boring
probably people
day.
getting injured and having to get, medical assistance and whatnot. The competitors, not the people in the audience.
How many hours of Saracen and a pugil stick could you take?
Yeah, I guess when you sign up for tickets, you think you're just going for an hour. Oh, it'll be on for an hour and then we can go home or go for a pizza.
I think you could leave. I think the odds are you and him were the only two people still there after 8 hours. Junior says, while queuing for the Millennium Dome, overheard a conversation behind me. Two people who didn't know each other got talking. Turned out they both lived one street apart in Australia and had met halfway round the world. What are the odds? I quite like what are the odds. Gary from Burr. My dad from Burr, along with you, Barry, moved to England in the 50s, fostered as a child. As a family, we visited Burr in 1981 and knocked on the door of a person to ask if they knew of his sister. The door we knocked on was my dad's actual sister, not seen since the age of 3.
No way.
That is what are the odds?
Could that listener get in touch? Let me know what street it was and who the sister was.
Yeah.
See if I know her.
See if it's Barry's sister. That could be one of the odds. Then we'd be doing a Davina McCall, Nicky Campbell show. Anyway, look, we're looking ahead to the final of the Euros. Let's hear from Serena Wiegmann. She's been chatting to talkSPORT's Courtney Sweetman-Kirk.
In terms of you and your experience, another major tournament final, I just wondered if there's anything that you've changed as you've gone through these processes, or actually is the success in the consistency?
No, you always learn. What we're trying to do, of course, is that's for every game, and so also for this game, trying to be the best prepared and trying to get the players in the best possible position that they can go out there and play. And what we always do is try to figure out together with the, there's a team behind the team, like the scouts and the performance team, that we're so well prepared. We know exactly what the opponent does, and then we make a game plan, and then we're trying to get that as clear as possible to the group and get them the best prepared. And we have experienced now so many games that I think we're in a good position.
And with Spain, it's becoming a rivalry, but also there must be a lot of respect. But on the pitch tomorrow, what are you expecting from them? How are you going to retain a Euros?
Yeah, there's a lot of respect, and yes, we've met each other now for a couple of times, so we know each other really, really well. We know that they're really good on the ball, and that we at moments we should be comfortable that they have the ball. Of course, don't let them become too dangerous, and but also when we win the ball, when we have the ball, we think we can harm them too. And let's see what we'll bring tomorrow.
Sarina Wiegman talking to Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Carrie Dunn still with us, author of Flying the Flag, Footballing Heroines of the Home Nations Who Made History Abroad. And Carrie, it is, I know I mentioned it before, but to get to 5, be the manager to get to the last 5 major finals is sort of ludicrous, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, her track record just cannot be doubted. That's why when I'm panicking about substitutions, I just have to have trust that Sarina Wiegman knows exactly what she's doing. And I love that she talks there about kind of the importance of the backroom team. So it's not all on her, but she also knows how to delegate, and that she's got the best people there supporting her and the team that are going to play this final tonight.
Yeah, because she's 5 finals, 5 tournaments. That's unprecedented in the women's game. It's no male manager has ever done it either. Do you have any idea what it is about her that makes her so good at tournament football or international management?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, I think partly that she's just so aware and so committed of doing whatever it takes to win the match, in whatever way necessary in the knockout stages. I mean, even when the performances haven't necessarily been great throughout the course of the match, there's always kind of, I guess there's always options that she's ready to use to chase that win. And I think also, she's pretty ruthless. I think, although she's obviously very, very nice, and the way that she talks, and she's so nice about paying credit to people, and she's very thoughtful in what she says. She'll take the decisions that need to be taken. I mean, she doesn't stick with the same starting 11 simply out of sentimentality. It's because they're the ones who are drilled. Everyone knows their role, and they're going to go out there and they're going to perform them. And that's the same for the substitutes as well. They know what is expected of them, because Sarina sets down those expectations so very clearly.
Yeah, given her ruthlessness, do you think she will start Lauren James?
I think she probably will. If there is any way that Lauren James is fit enough to stand and kick a ball, I think she'll start.
Yeah, and I wouldn't blame her for doing that. Listen, Carrie, thanks so much for coming on today. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie.
Thank you.
Carrie Dunn there, or her new book, Flying the Flag, the Footballing Heroines of the Home Nations Who Made History Abroad. Now, Arsenal are playing Newcastle in Singapore. Of course they are. This is what happens 2 weeks before the season. The Moose is watching it for talkSPORT. And there's been a goal at the Singapore Stadium. Moose.
There has an early goal. Arsenal 0, Newcastle 1. Newcastle beaten by Celtic last week 4-0, and without Alexander Isak. No problem though. Tonali involved twice in the move. First played the ball out to the right-hand side, then continued his run out towards that right wing. He received the ball back and with his low ball into the penalty area, 10 yards out, just slightly behind him, but managed to sort his feet out, was Anthony Elanga. His first goal for Newcastle, in via the post beyond David Raya. Not the start that Arsenal would have wanted. Arsenal 0, Newcastle 1. Anthony Elanga with the goal.
Look like Arsenal need a striker from what you've seen so far, Moose.
he's watching in the stands. Victor Gyökeres signed yesterday, obviously not playing today. Might play against Spurs in the inverted commas North London derby in the Far East on Thursday, but not involved today, and I'm sure he'll be looking at it thinking, I can't wait to get out there and begin my Arsenal career.
And it's obviously Arsenal made a lot of signings. Who of those do we see in the starting 11?
Zubimendi is starting for the first time. Came on a sub the other day in a 2-0 win over AC Milan. 1-0 win over AC Milan. Saka got the goal. So he's starting today. Norgard is on the bench. Kepa, who came on at half-time the other day, he's on the bench, but not involved today. Obviously, Gyökeres, Mosquera, and Noni Madueke as well, who's signed from Chelsea. Didn't play the other day. Again, not involved today, probably because he was involved with Chelsea right through to the end of the Club World Cup, so they're giving him a little bit of extra time off.
Moose, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Arsenal have given a couple of 15-year-olds a run out on this tour. Are they playing today? Or do you know much about them? Sorry.
Yeah, they're both on the bench. The one that you'll know most about is a guy called Max Dowman. Now, I expect him to get some game time for Arsenal in the first team, maybe not in the Premier League, but certainly in competitions like the League Cup and the FA Cup this season. Very, very exciting. He's already playing 2 age groups above his level for England. He was involved in the summer for England's under-17s. There's been a lot of talk about how good he is. He was too young to play last season in the Premier League, but he won't be this year because he'll be 16 in December, so he is able to play if Arsenal choose to play him in the Premier League this season. And from what I saw the other day, he came on with that half an hour to go. Nothing fazed him. His first touch was incredible, and I think providing, in racing parlance, he trains on, and there's no reason why he shouldn't when you look at how good Saka, Lewis Skelly and Manieri have been, having come through that Hale End Academy. I think that we could be looking at a very, very special player. Max Dowman is the name to certainly listen out for. Yeah. By the way, I've got one of your...
oh, yes. What are the odds?
What are the odds things, right? So I went to 2016 Euros for talkSPORT in France. Obviously in 2016.
Yes.
And the day before the tournament, what are the odds on it being in 2016? Day before the tournament started, celebrity 6-a-side game. 2 captains were Diego Maradona and Pele, and I was on the side of the pitch where Pele and his team were. Star-studded team. And I thought, I've really got to get a selfie with Pele. Never had a selfie with Pele. So he was surrounded by these security guards. So I went up to just pick one at random. Went up to him and said in very, very slow English, "Can I get a picture with Pele?" And the guy looked at me, obviously wearing my talkSPORT t-shirt, and he went, "Yes, you can." So I knew he was English. I said, "Oh, you're English?" He goes, Yeah, I listen to talkSPORT, so absolutely no problem. I said, "By the way, where are you from?" He said, "I'm from London." I said, "Oh, me too. Whereabouts in London are you from?" He said, "North West London." I said, "Oh, me too. Whereabouts in North West London?" He said, "Edgware." I said, "Wow, I'm from Edgware as well." And he was like, we established he was about 3 or 4 years older than me. I said, "Where did you live in Edgware?" And turns out he lived in the next street along to where I'd grown up, he'd grown up. So what were the odds of me getting to France for the Euros, wanting a picture with Pele, and the guy who could make it happen for me had lived and grown up in the next street to where I'd lived? So he went over and got Pele. He said, "You've got to have a picture taken with this guy." And so I got my selfie with Pele.
I thought you never got a Pele. I thought that was the thing. No. That was your one great friend you never got.
I'm pretty sure I've seen
You've seen my great friend Pele, yeah.
No,
Can I have a picture with Pele? Yes, I grew up in the street next door to you, you idiot. I like that. Very good. Hey, thank you, Moose.
No problem.
More for the Moose as and when anything happens in the friendly between Arsenal and Newcastle. Newcastle a goal up. First goal for Anthony Elanga. Interesting that Gibbs White signed a new deal there, where Mark Langland's joining us to talk transfers. One for the in the know lot who all went, yes, but that deal will be done for Spurs. It's just a matter of time.
It's almost as if the in the know lot aren't in the know. I'm just putting it out there.
Not in the know. You said it. Anyway, Max and Barry here until 2. Uma Gurav is at Box Park. We'll cross to her 5 hours before kick-off to see what the atmosphere is like. People hurling pints all over each other, flares stuck in orifices.
Wembley Box Park?
Wembley Box Park, yeah.
It's probably just full of unconscious Oasis fans who haven't gone home yet.
Very likely, isn't it? And Lee Phelps will join us from William Hill too. And good afternoon. You are listening to the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max Rushden and Barry Glendenning with you until 2 o'clock this afternoon on the warm-up. Of course, live commentary this afternoon of England versus Spain in the final of the Euros. Right now, let's look at the latest odds ahead of today's action with William Hill.
In the Zone on talkSPORT with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Phelps joined us. Hey, Lee, you good?
Really good. How have we got this far without calling this feature "What Are the Odds"?
It's a good point, well made. It would fit, wouldn't it? It would fit.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Exactly.
We can.
Although I would say that I think, like, I've already inquired as to the odds of Barry sitting next to Christopher Aldred.
Oh yeah.
For a second time, and it depends on how many seats there were on the plane. But let's say there were.
It was quite a small, big plane, if you know what I mean. It wasn't a 747.
Let's say it's 150, then it's 1 to 150. But like what I must point out is that the traders are quite busy and they're not willing to price up everything that every listener sends in as what are the odds.
Well, shame on them. If they want to be if you want to be part of this show, Lee, you have to say that's what we want.
It's like they've got horse racing to price up. It's like they've got the Belgian Grand Prix, the Tour de France, in-play cricket, in-play golf. It's like they're busy. I don't know what's going on.
I really hope that Christopher Aldred is either listening to this or has been alerted to the fact that he is a major talking point on the radio this morning.
I should hope so too. We've established as well the tapping is when Barry taps the table, it taps my microphone, not somebody who wrote in to say, when a small mouse hears Barry talk, it inspires him to put up a small framed picture of Barry. And that's what's happening whenever you hear the tapping is a little mouse with his little hammer and his little nails. Anyway, Lee, where should we start? The racing?
Yeah, we've got extra places. We've got best odds guaranteed. There's price boosts. We've got, like I said, there's price boosts on the Belgian Grand Prix. We've got in-play golf. The cricket, of course. England needs 7 wickets. I mean, India trailing by 95 runs as it stands at the minute. So, yeah, pretty unlikely that England will bowl them out before they have to bat again. But England are 13-10 to win the match. It's 11-20, so odds on the draw. And India, obviously, big odds outsiders, 100-1. Not quite as big as Barry being sat next to Christopher Aldred, but, on that kind of scale, I guess. And then we've got a darts later on, of course. I don't know if you got a chance to catch any of it last night. But
I stumbled across it last night, Lee. It was fantastic. 2 brilliant semi-finals.
Absolutely, yeah. I listened to it on talkSPORT too, actually, and the 9-darter, Luke Littler's 9-darter, against Josh Rock, the perfect darts. No one threw a dart out of place. 4-1-80s. Luke Littler finishes on the 1-4-1 as well, and he's obviously back in action tonight against James Wade. You won't be surprised to know that his odds on to win that, and probably will, I guess. There's a big price boost on Luke Littler to have a 170 finish. That's been boosted from 4-1 out to 6-1. Now he missed one in the round before the quarterfinals and said, I really want a 170 this week, and he hasn't had a 170 checkout. So if he tries to get one and wants to get one, then 6-1 for a 170 finish looks pretty good on that one. But yeah, Littler, as you might expect, odds on to win that final.
What price is Wade?
Wade is currently. I just checked. Let me just double check.
Sorry, I've
no, it's fine. The prices are just. He's 4-1. Okay. 1-6. Luke Littler. So look, there's been quite a lot of surprises in this tournament already. And Josh Rock started out 5-0 up against Luke Littler last night. So 4-1, James Wade at his very best can trouble Luke Littler, but 1-6 is too short. I think you have to be looking at some boosted prices or maybe the match treble or whatever. But yeah, 4-1 Wade.
If anyone sees James Wade, could they slip him £20 that I should have given him some time ago?
He once fixed your car.
He once fixed my Renault Clio. When he was going out with Helen Chamberlain and I was at Helen's house, and he fixed my car and it worked, and then I drove home, and then Helen gave me a lot of stick for not like slipping him 20 quid to say go get something nice. But that to me felt more insulting. He just won, I think, the World Championships or something. He didn't need £20 from me, and it wasn't
it's more of the principle. Get yourself a drink. You've done me a favour.
No, I understand that, but I wouldn't expect James Wade to give me £20 if I did him a favour. I would just be doing him a favour. But then it established that I should have slipped him £20. So, James, you have my apologies.
Because I saw James Wade in his press conference last night.
Oh, yeah.
After winning, he was complaining about the price of fish and chips in Blackpool.
Really?
And the low quality of the fish and chips he'd eaten with his 2 young boys and Mrs. Wade. So if he'd had your £20, it would have subsidised his overpriced subpar fish and chip.
Well, listen, I'm happy to. Like, James, if you're listening, just send me your PayPal and I will get you the 20 quid that I should have given him. With inflation, it's probably 30 now, given how long ago. But he did a great job on, your
carburetor.
Some bit of the clear. I don't know, some bit inside the bonnet. Anyway, what about the football tonight, Lee?
Yeah, you'd be hoping he's not worried about that when he's got Luke Littler in the World Match Play final in a few hours. But hopefully that gets resolved. England, Spain, of course. What a game win store we've got. England are 18-5 to win this in the 90 minutes. Obviously, 90-minute results haven't been their thing in this tournament for the last couple of matches. The draw is 13-5, and Spain are 3-4, so odds on to lift the trophy effectively. England are 15-8, so just under 2-1, and Spain are 2-5. If you're looking at extra time and penalties, 16-1 for England to win in extra time, 8-1 for Spain, and penalties, it's 11-1 for both sides to win on penalties. We've got an epic boost on this one. That's Alessia Russo to have at least one shot on target. That's evens from 1 to 2. T's and C's are available on the app there. Impact sub applies though, so if Alessia Russo doesn't get that bet up and she goes off and the sub coming on replaces the bet, so you've got impact sub on your side, evens from 1 to 2. All the T's and C's are on there. Given the way England, have performed in this tournament, the old adage, the name is on the cup, could apply to them, but this is Spain, isn't it? They haven't conceded a goal in the knockout stages. They didn't concede against England in the World Cup final. You just wonder if this is just one step too far for this England side. Although, Germany did almost do a job on Spain. So if you fancy England, you're probably looking at that as a touch of value. I mean, I'm not sure I'd go on the 90 minutes. I'd put 15-8 to win the Euros. That's probably worth a look. A couple of the price boosts around Esther Gonzalez to score the first goal. England do concede first an awful lot and have done in this tournament. That's been boosted from 9-2 to 11-2. And the other one that's worth looking at, if you're putting a bet builder together and you've got impact sum on those and you've got your bet builder winnings boost, is Bon Mati, back-to-back Ballon d'Or winner, assisted in the quarterfinals, scored the winner in the semi-final, of course. If Spain go on to win this, she will be involved somewhere. So I think you're looking at both teams to score in the bet builders. Even though Spain have shut everyone out recently, I do think there'll be goals in this final. Bon Mati has to be involved. As I said, Russo should be involved somewhere, but really looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Good stuff, Lee. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, guys.
That was What Are the Odds? With Lee Phelps and the latest odds with William Hill. 18+, begambleaware.org.
In the Zone on talkSPORT with William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
There's been a wicket at Old Trafford. We'll cross to Nick Ellaby in just a second. Before that, Uma Gurav has what I would say the unenviable task of being sent to Box Park, Wembley, 5 hours before kickoff to soak up the atmosphere. I don't see you, Uma, and correct me if I'm wrong, as a hurling pints of lager in the air and downing 2 pints at a time and then putting empty glasses on your head. But set the scene for us, Uma.
I'm not doing it yet, but when England win, you never know.
That's
you never
true.
know, Max.
Let yourself
it might
go.
happen. But exactly. I mean, if they do win, which I fully believe they will, I think the scenes here will be incredible. That's why I'm down here at Wembley Box Park. And, just a few hundred metres away, back in 2022, that's where they won it for the first time. The scenes were incredible that day. And I genuinely do think there's a real sense here that actually England might just be able to do it again. Spain weren't at their best against Germany. I think Germany pushed them all the way. Even Switzerland, to an extent, I think, pushed them. And England, they've had to battle through. It's been painful. That Sweden penalty shootout, I think I aged, honestly. And against Italy, it felt like it was they cut it even more fine. But something keeps getting them through. And you just have a sense that they're kind of meant to do this. I'll tell you why else I'm feeling confident. It's Aggie Beever-Jones's birthday today. And I think, it's kind of written in the stars. She's going to come on and score the winner for us. So, yeah, I think for Serena Wiegmann, it could well be another Euro title.
Can I be Barry Buzzkill?
Yes, be Barry Buzzkill. Go for it.
I think England are going to get battered tonight. Now, I'm not saying I hope they get battered. I just have a feeling they will. But bear in mind, I also thought Chelsea get hammered in the Copa
Club World Cup
final. So I have been known to be wrong. But have you ever been at Box Park, Uma, where things haven't gone well and everyone's just gone bleh and traipsed off home in a funk?
Yes, and I'm trying not to think of the last time I was here and that happened, because it was actually the 2023 Women's World Cup final win, of course.
Right.
They didn't get battered. They definitely didn't get battered, but it was a 1-0 win for Spain and, of course, heartbreak for England on the day. However, since then, England have come so far. They've beaten Spain. They know how to do it. Even in 2022, they had to get past Spain to get to the title. And for Sarina Wiegman, I know she's been really putting us all through the ringer with these subs, but in Sarina we trust. We have to say that. She's never been to a Euros that she hasn't won, and I just think that they are due a good performance. They really are. They have to come out fighting, and Spain are going to make it so that if England do win, they will have absolutely deserved it, because it's not going to be easy for them. But by no means, I just hope that they put on a performance. I don't want to see them get battered. I think everybody wants to just see a good game for sure. But I think for England, I think there's just so much feeling in that camp. You know, I was out in Switzerland talking to them. I don't think they will let it be that they are battered, because they have too much heart and spirit in that team.
Speaking of battered, Barry suggested, are there lots of Oasis fans just lying in a heap on Wembley Way, or have somebody swept them up?
Yes, I can see them as we speak. I don't think they made it home last night. The Oasis fans mixed with the England shirts on Wembley Way at the moment. But, yeah, no, you can see the strange mix of fans, I think, Oasis and Lionesses. I was wondering how much of an overlap there would be there.
Fair play, they're still there at 1 in the afternoon. Look, Oasis making a lot of people very happy. Thanks, Uma. Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you, too.
Uma Gurav there, who is at Box Park. I presume the show after, I should check these things, is probably live from Box Park, isn't it? Let me look at my notes. It is live from Box. Who's doing it? This is very kind. Somebody can tell me what's going on.
It's Leanne Sanderson.
That's it, Ollie Klink and Leanne Sanderson, who are joining us for the footballer game in about 20 minutes' time. They are going to do all the build-up to the Euros final live from Box Park, Wembley, and then we'll have commentary of the game, of course, from 4. Max and Barry here until 2 on the warm-up.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've had a look. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on the side of a cliff in the Faroe Islands in Euro 2000 qualifying. The pitch at Toftir was like a cow field, never mind those gale force winds. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time. Cue Scandi scenes. But away trips don't come tougher than playing Bolivia at altitude in La Paz. Or so we thought. The Bolivians have now taken home advantage to another level, literally 500 metres further up the Andes to the country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Meanwhile, the loudest stadium in world football officially is the Ali Sami Yen, where Galatasaray fans set a world record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead. But our most intimidating away day is in Wales. Prison team HMP Prescoed was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Hello, everybody. You're listening to talkSPORT, the world's biggest sports radio station. Max Rushden, Barry Glendenning here for another hour before Ollie Klink and Leanne Sanderson pick up from Box Park, Wembley, as the atmosphere grows ahead of the final of Euro 2025, England versus Spain. Commentary of that, of course, kick off 5 o'clock, and you can hear it on talkSPORT. Let's do some transfer stuff in the company of the Racing Post. Mark Langdon. Hey, Mark, you okay?
I'm okay, Max. Bit tired. Went to Oasis on Friday night. Not fully recovered from that. And then in the Racing Post tomorrow, we've got the 80-page guide to the new football season. So I'm not really in the brightest mood to be tackling that after the Oasis on Friday. But we're surviving is probably the best way of putting it.
Now, we'll get onto that preview because it is great in the Racing Post. But my friends Anna and Bethan went to Oasis last night. They said it was amazing, right?
Yeah.
And they're making a lot of people very happy. And something that everyone is at a thing, a bit like Glastonbury. I'd be like, oh, for goodness sake. But they did say, because there were most people there were sort of men of a certain age, Oasis sort of 40, 45. And neither of these girls are that tall. As they were walking out, the flatulence of the men was absolutely unbearable. They said it was still worth going to the gig, but like if you are going to go to Oasis, just hold, and you've been on the beers, just hold it in until because there's some confined spaces as you're leaving. I don't know if you were guilty of that, Mark. I'm not accusing you of that. They went on Saturday night. You could have been totally abstemious in that area. We don't need to go into detail. Should we?
I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that Mark Langdon was not totally abstemious at an Oasis gig. I can imagine him there with his bucket hat on, a pint of lager in each hand.
I did. I may or may not have woken up at the end of the train line and needed to go.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Stuck at Cockfosters. Absolute disaster. Should we start with Luis Diaz? That news is interesting, isn't it? Liverpool, obviously, because we're wondering how they could afford Alexander Isak and if he's going to go there, but that does make some space, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And, I think from Liverpool's point of view, we've already brought in Ekitike as well that can play on the left-hand side. Gakpo can play, left or centre as well. So they've got good options already. But if they can raise the funds for, what would be a really expensive deal to bring in Isak, but takes Liverpool to the next level. I think Diaz has done well at Liverpool. You can't sort of knock his efforts, but I don't think it would be the end of the world really for Liverpool to look to kind of upgrade really in that area. And I was a bit surprised that Bayern were interested in Diaz because they've already got a lot of players that can play out wide themselves, Gnabry, Kingsley Coman, Elise, who had such a good season last year, debut one in the Bundesliga, but they do a lot of attacking in those wide areas, and they lost Tell to Tottenham as well. So I suppose Diaz is somebody that could play in a variety of positions. They might want him to even play off Kane. So it might be one of those. It's just a good deal for everyone.
There we are. Goal at the Emirates, not the Emirates, in Singapore. Arsenal versus Newcastle. Ian Abrahams.
Arsenal won. Newcastle won. The goal on 33 minutes. Ball laid, one back by Arsenal, but deep inside the Newcastle half. Laid back to the edge of the area by Kai Havertz, and there was Mikel Moreno, their emergency striker from last season, just inside the box to stroke it beyond Nick Pope and into the corner. Anthony Elanga had given Newcastle a 6-minute lead. 33 gone. Arsenal won. Newcastle won.
Cheers, Moose. How much, Mark, will Isak cost, do you think?
I can't believe Newcastle would sell him for anything under what, 130, 120, 130. I think he's that important. I did see somewhere say 150. I sort of struggle to think that Liverpool would go quite that high. They might not need to. It could even depend in terms of how much of a fuss he kicks up on whether he goes on strike or really forces the move through. Because at the moment, he can miss a tour, but it's when he potentially sort of refuses to play in Premier League games at the price then might start to come down. But as I said earlier, I think he is probably the one player potentially on the market that just takes any of the teams that would be able to sign him to another level. He just, I think, has been fantastic for Newcastle when he's been fit, and you just feel like he just would score goals for Liverpool if he went there. Just plug in and play.
Another goal for Ian Abrahams.
2 in a minute for Arsenal. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 1. It's an own goal from Alex Murphy. Ball in from the left-hand side, aiming for Saka at the far post. He would have had a tap in. Murphy had to do something with it, but not put it beyond Nick Pope into his own net. He should have put it wide, really. Arsenal now lead. They've turned it around inside a minute. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 1.
It's the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max and Barry. Mark Langdon from the Racing Post with us talking transfers. Barry, to you.
Oh, to me. Mark, it says in my notes here that Gianluigi Donnarumma is in the final year of his contract at PSG. I think I saw somewhere on TV or read somewhere that PSG have just signed Lucas Chevalier from Lille, who I think, on the evidence of probably one game I've seen him playing, is absolutely fantastic. Is there a chance PSG will sell Donnarumma and try and get a few quid for him?
Well, I mean, they won't want to lose him on a free transfer, that's for sure. So, he's been linked with a number of clubs, both Manchester clubs. We know that Man City are sort of on the verge of getting Trafford back from Burnley. Manchester United have been in the market for a goalkeeper all summer. Those would be two clubs that could definitely do with a goalkeeper. I would suggest that Chelsea, even though Sanchez played very well in the Club World Cup final, it might be an area where Chelsea look to improve in the final weeks of the transfer window. And I think that Donnarumma goes by the nickname, or he does in Italy, of Dollaruma. So he sort of likes a pound note, and is not afraid to say that, and to move where he thinks the money is good. And the money's good in the Premier League. It's also good at Paris Saint-Germain. They've just won the Champions League. They've got a really exciting team, and I don't think they want to necessarily lose Donnarumma. But similarly, if you're in the last year of your contract, if he won't sign a new deal, then you probably do have to look to move him on.
I know you're a Spurs fan, Mark, and obviously when Morgan Gibbs-White, when Spurs triggered the release clause of Gibbs-White, and everyone went, oh, well, that came out of nowhere, and that's a very good signing, and he'll be great. And then everyone said, oh, look, Marinakis is complaining, but the deal will be done. Everyone's understanding is the deal will be done, and the deal has not been done. And from a Tottenham point of view, that's very disappointing. Great news for Forest. Quite an interesting story how this has panned out.
Yeah. I mean, here we go, wasn't it, from Fabrizio Romano at one stage? They normally means they're done. I think great news first of all for Forest. We'll speak as a Spurs fan in a moment, but I think it was so important to what Nottingham Forest were trying to do. They've lost Elanga, and you've seen he's already scored against Arsenal. So you wouldn't want to lose such an influential player when you've got load more matches to come in Europe. So it's great news for Forest. Less good for Spurs, who I think need somebody of that dynamism to play in the number 10 role for how Thomas Frank wants them to play. They have got Maddison can play there, and Kulusevski as well. But I think that the fact they went for the sort of profile of Gibbs-White suggests that they was looking for something else in that position.
Who else could do that?
Xavi Simons would be one, but it sounds like he could be going to Chelsea. I think you could develop Eze into that position. Though he plays off the left at the moment, but I do think he could play centrally. But I think that a lot of the rumours are suggesting that Arsenal at the front of the queue for him. So Tottenham might have to kind of look for something else and maybe just go down a different path altogether. I don't think it necessarily means that they will, because they've not got Gibbs-White, that you then spend 60 million just on another kind of attacking midfielder. I would suggest that Tottenham maybe look for another striker potentially and look to change the team dynamic that way.
There are some sort of Adam Wharton rumours. I mean, he's not obviously a Gibbs-White player. He's not a 10, but like Wharton to Spurs rumours. Is that just lots of hopeful Tottenham fans looking at a player that would look really nice in a Tottenham shirt?
Yeah, I think that probably is more hope than expectation. You were saying earlier about how much Isak would cost. I mean, Crystal Palace surely wouldn't be selling Wharton for anything sort of less than 80, 90 million. I wouldn't have thought, given his influence and I think the potential for him to get even better. And, from Adam Wharton's point of view, like, why Tottenham as well? I think if he has one more good year at Palace, next year you could see Liverpool or Man City, Chelsea coming in for Adam Wharton, and you then got more chance of winning the Premier League. So I wouldn't have thought that would be a move he'd be desperate to make either, really. But I mean, Spurs do need somebody in that position. You know, we were speaking earlier about the sort of need for a number 10. I think that probably the defensive midfielder sort of is one that they desperately need. It's Paulinho, isn't it, of Bayern Munich, that's being kind of linked most at the moment. He'd be a sensible enough signing, but probably doesn't move you up sort of too far in the Premier League pecking order, I wouldn't have thought.
Mark, thinking about Brentford, I think of little else, if truth be told.
Who doesn't?
But they've lost Thomas Frank, they've lost Christian Nurgaard, they've lost Brian Mbeumo. It looks like they're going to lose Johan Wissa. I don't know if there's anyone else I have forgotten or passed me by, and they've got a managerial novice in Keith Andrews. Do you think they'll struggle next season?
I do think they'll struggle, yes. But what you would say about Brentford is that what goes on behind the scenes is just as important as what you see out on the pitch. And they found all of these players and managers. That's what their sort of transfer network does with the analytics that they've got working in the background. And you back them to be able to find players that were able to replace them. If you think back to Ivan Toney when he left, the question was, well, who's going to score all the goals? And then it was Wissa, it was Mbeumo, Sharda as well came on, and they just found a new way to do things. But you've got a novice manager in Keith Andrews with the heart ripped out of the team. So I think there should be some nervousness if, like you, Barry, anyone else that kind of thinks of Brentford 24/7, that there will be some concern for sure. You probably hoping that there'd just be three worse teams than Brentford, and two of those probably are coming up from the Championship. I think Leeds are the ones that might just scare the Premier League mainstays. I know you're a Sunderland fan, Barry, and they've been very ambitious in the transfer market, but I think they had a long way to go. If you think how far off they finished from the likes of Leeds and Burnley last season.
So, Mark, you mentioned that your Racing Post season preview pull-out is coming out tomorrow. It's a little annual tradition of mine. I like to get it, go for a couple of quiet afternoon pints and read through it and sort of start getting my own ducks in a row ahead of the new season. Can I ask you, just you put in charge of putting it all together, how difficult is it to get it all ready for tomorrow morning when there's still so much up in the air transfer wise, and you don't know if Alexander Isak's going to be a Newcastle player or not? Does that make it really hard?
It is definitely more difficult. There's no doubt about that. I do tend to think, though, that I know I'm on the transfer section, but I do think that we probably overrate transfers and kind of the impact that players tend to have. I mean, as many of them will fail as they will be successful. Maybe even more will fail, and you can just become obsessed with, we need this right back. Like the world's over if we don't get this left back in. But football just moves on, and you find new ways of doing it. So it's definitely not perfect. And from that Liverpool sort of Newcastle point of view with Isak, I mean, I think it makes a bit. I think that is one that would make a big difference to the title picture. But there's a lot of people that feel like Liverpool will win the league with or without Isak.
You need to make it like a roll your own adventure. So you say, if Isak goes to Liverpool, roll a dice, turn to page 62, like a sort of old Asterix roll your own that I used to have. That would work. That'd be good fun, wouldn't it?
I'd like it.
Yeah, why
like
not?
it.
Hey, Mark, have a lovely day. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Now, there you are, Mark Langdon there. No proof or not as to how flatulent he was on Friday leaving Oasis. It says, call the show now. What for? That's if you're on YouTube. 03717 223344 is the phone number. But we're not interested in talking to you because we've got the footballer game next. Good afternoon. This is the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max Rushden and Barry Glendenning here until 2. The footballer game will be between me, Barry, Ollie Klink, who's at Box Park, and Ian Abrahams, who's watching Arsenal Newcastle in the friendly in Singapore. It's half-time in that game, so let's get an update, Moose.
Yeah, approaching half-time into the last few seconds. It's Arsenal 2, Newcastle 1. Newcastle ahead inside 6 minutes. Ball in from Tonali on the right-hand side. It was just behind Anthony Elanga, if the truth be told, but he scuffed his shot, but it was enough to go over the defender Ben White and in via the post for 1-0. They led to the 33rd minute, then the wheels really came off. First of all, Kai Havertz laying the ball back for Mikel Merino, edge of the penalty area, to side foot past Nick Pope for 1-1, and then 60 seconds later, ball in from the left-hand side, and Alex Murphy, who got there ahead of Bukayo Saka. Saka surely would have tapped it in. Murphy did it for him, though, for an own goal. Should have put it wide of the net, but he blasted it past Nick Pope for an own goal. So it's Arsenal 2, Newcastle 1.
Thank you very much, Ian. Are you excited about the footballer game? You're quite a good player, Moose, at this.
I'm a bit rusty. I haven't played for a while, so I'm not expecting a great deal.
Okay, but not been training, like week in, week out?
No,
you've always got to be ready in case you get the call up, Moose.
I know, but I haven't been pre-season training for the footballer game.
Okay. Yeah, the bleep test. He struggled with it. Also playing Ollie Klink, who's at Box Park with a pint of beers, covered in booze already. Klink, he's got a flare sticking out of something. He's ready for the Euros final. How are you, Ollie?
Yeah, that's just from Oasis last night, actually, from here. But yeah, very, very much looking forward. Obviously devastated by Newcastle are losing to Arsenal in pre-season. The wheels have come off already, as Moose said. But we're very much looking forward to the big game. And yeah, I'll be alongside Perry Groves and former Lioness Leanne Sanderson up here. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Now, you know, are you inside or on the balcony? Because they start pumping out Sweet Caroline a little bit. Or, you know, Vindaloo starts playing at like 4 hours before kickoff. You're like, can you just turn it down? Just, you know, not yet, guys. What's happening inside?
Yeah, do you know what? At the moment, they're taking out all of the Oasis branding and taking in all of the England Lioness branding. It's quite a busy Wembley Way, full of England shirts, and then the odd hungover Oasis fan making their way back up to Wembley Park Station. So Sweet Caroline not pumping quite yet, but I'm sure it will get going whilst we're here.
Ollie, I think I heard Leanne Sanderson saying yesterday that she was going to Oasis last night, and she's now with you this afternoon. I'm just wondering, did she bother going home, or?
I'm not sure if she's left the stadium yet, Barry, and I'm not sure what state her voice is in as well. If she was belting out all those hits, so we're going to have to find out, aren't we?
Okay, all right. Well, let's. And what you? I mean, have you got a parade of guests coming down, or have they just said, "Here's some microphones, just get some people to say, come on, England for 3 hours"? What's happening?
The latter, I would say. No,
Perfect.
Of course, we're going to be joined by the team out in Switzerland ahead of the game too. But yeah, here we've got a crack team, and we're going to be previewing a huge game.
So that was crack, C-R-A-C-K, by the way. It was insulting his production team straight away. Right, let's play the footballer game. Tom Clayton hosting. Hey, Tom.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Out of 10?
6.
Let's play.
Our first footballer started his career in the year 1997 with Dartford. There were no statistics from that first season with them. In 1998, he went to Gravesend and Northfleet, where he scored 7 in 30. In the year 1999, he signed for West Ham United, but didn't make any appearances and didn't score in 2 seasons there. In 2001, he went to Peterborough United, where he scored 11.
Oh, I know this.
In
I know
66.
This.
In
the midfield player that
Simon Davis.
No, midfield player that did the thing with Hull City.
2003 went to Wigan Athletic, where he scored 10 in 145.
It is. It's the midfield player.
Well, say his name, Moose.
He did the thing in the middle of the pitch with Phil
Jimmy Bullard.
Brown.
It is Jimmy Bullard.
Yes, that's it. There we are. There we go.
Point for Max.
It's a point for well-deserved point for me.
Come on, you've got to give me half a point at least. Tom, half a point, yeah?
No, that's not how it works. The whole idea is he reads out the Wikipedia, and
I can see his face.
The person who says his name gets the point. And I said Jimmy Bullard.
I think Max, come on.
None of your clues actually helped me at all, I'd like to point out.
Really? The thing in the middle of the picture of Phil Brown didn't help you?
But if you just kept your internal monologue going, you'd have got there.
And People say that about you quite a lot, Moose. So
I'll tell you what, in the footballer games, Fantasy Football League will give you an assist. How about that?
We're not interested in those. Not interested in those. Max won.
I think Moose should lose a point. He spoke over all the clues.
Yeah, no, good point. Yeah. And that's terrible radio etiquette as well. So he's bringing the game into disrepute. Max 1, Barry 0, Ollie 0, Moose categorically 0. Let's go with player 2.
Player number 2 started his career in the year 2000 with Neuchâtel Xamax, where he scored 4 in 19.
Granit Xhaka.
No, in the year 2001 he went to Grasshoppers, where he scored 5 in 29. In 2000,
Jordan Shaqiri.
No, in 2002 he went to RC Lens, where he scored 6 in 47. In the year 2004 he signed for Fulham, where he scored 8 in
Steve Malbranck.
No, scored 8 in 76. In 2007 he went to Portsmouth, where he didn't score in 53. In the year 2010 he went to AK Athens, where he scored once in 19. A year later he went back to England to West Ham United, where he scored once in 16.
Sebastian Schemmel.
No, and then in 2012 he finished his career with one last year at Birmingham City, where he scored once in 2 games.
Wow, this is a tough one, isn't it? I love how certain
Sorry, when was he at West Ham?
Schemmel.
He was at West Ham 2011 to 2012 that season.
So it's a Swiss midfielder.
Would you like me to give you his international stats?
Yes.
Stats from 2001 to 2008, he scored 11 goals in 63 appearances for Senegal.
Papa Bouba Diop.
It is Papa Bouba Diop.
Yes! I was about to say it. I can't believe I didn't say it. There we go. Okay, you're so sure about Schemmel, weren't you? You get that in a footballer game when you think I've absolutely nailed this. And what a great shout, Sebastian Schemmel, but wrong. Max 1, Barry 1, Clink 0, Moose 0. Here we go.
I'm having a nightmare.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Papa Bouba Diop really rolls off.
It's a lovely name to say. Yeah. Here
The
we go,
wardrobe.
then. Player 3.
Player 3 started his career in 1996 with Degerfors IF. He didn't score in 47. In 1997 he went to Ike. He didn't score in 17. In 1998 he moved to Racing Santander. Didn't score in 98. Stayed there till 2001, where he moved to Aston Villa. Scored 8.
Peter Enkelman.
No, scored 8 in 232. In 2000.
Olaf Melberg.
It is Olaf Melberg.
There you go. There you go. You can't pay for greatness like that. Well played, everybody. Good game. It was a good game, wasn't it? Thanks, Dolly. I mean, you didn't make any noise there, but you are going to have to make some noise over the crowds at Box Park. So I understood why you
kept your powder dry.
Kept your powder dry.
Max, have you got the phone number for Cass? Because I'm still upset about the first one.
For Tony Cascarino or the Court of Arbitration for Sport?
The Court of... I don't think Cascarino
I can give you Tony Cascarino's number. I don't think he wants us to read it out on air, but I don't know. But what are the
Jimmy
rules about?
Bullard, I feel like I've been. I don't know. I feel like I should get more for that than an assist. But
you've only got yourself to blame, haven't you? Yeah. You basically described Jimmy Bullard to me, didn't you? And then I said Jimmy Bullard. It was the right thing for me to do. You've let yourself down in many ways.
The guy with the long blonde hair who's good at golf and
who hosted Soccer AM when it was on its descent. We all remember that, don't we? Anyway, thanks everybody. Thank you, Moose. Back to you when anything happens. And Ollie, have a good show at Box Park. Ollie Klink and Leanne Sanderson will be your hosts from 2 o'clock this afternoon. It is Max and Barry with you until 2. Alvaro Romano will join us in just a second. Our Spanish football expert will look at the Euros final. Sorry, I've called him Romano. He's not Fabrizio Romano. He's Alvaro Romeo. My apologies, Alvaro, if you've already turned on. I was racing through things. But he's great, and he will talk about the Euros final from a Spanish point of view. We've seen Marcus Rashford running around in a Barca shirt, do a bit of that as well. And then top comedian Justin Morehouse will join us for Guess the Attendance.
It's not often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now, in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
Good afternoon, you're listening to the Warm Up on talkSPORT. Max and Barry with you until 2. Ollie Klink and Leanne Sanderson from the Box Park at Wembley until 4. And then our coverage of the final between England and Spain begins. Commentary from 5 o'clock. Let's talk about the opponents then. Spain, quite good, aren't they? Alvaro Romeo is a Spanish football expert. Joins us now. Hey, Alvaro, you okay?
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, you're absolutely right. I think that Spain is a very good team, but I don't think that a win for Spain is a given, considering England's capacity to survive in every game.
Yes, it is a capacity to survive. I mean, if Spain get it right, then England are in a lot of trouble, is what I think. But if they're not at full pelt, then I think England have a decent chance.
Yeah, I think so too. I believe that Spain has been the best team on the tournament, and probably the stats are backing that idea in terms of possession, shots, goals scored, goals conceded, the way they play. They haven't suffered at any moment in the tournament, perhaps with the exception of the semi-finals against Germany. I want to remind everyone that Spain started the tournament scoring a goal in the first minute or the second minute against Portugal, and ever since they haven't even been behind in the scoreline, as far as I can remember. But England is a different proposition. Spain has played against them a few times over the last years. It's never been easy. And England's resilience is something very remarkable. So if Spain wants to be on the safe side, they better excel what they do, because otherwise England has proven to be an opponent with many lives.
Alvaro, is this Spanish squad, are they a very united group of players? We saw when they won the World Cup, what should have been a big moment for them was ruined by various federation members misbehaving, and then they didn't fulfill their expectations at the Olympics. Tonight is massive for this group of players, isn't it?
It is very big because, even in some spaces in Twitter, or in the social media, you can still read that these players won because the previous manager, the man, Jorge Vilda, was very good for them. And, I think that these players have a point to prove with Spain. The manager, Montse Tomé, won the Nations League last year. I think that was a very big step forward for this generation and for Montse Tomé herself. But this is, for me, the most important exam for Spain. You know, if they win today, they will leave behind all the Rubiales era. Also, they've got a couple of players who didn't want to play under Jorge Vilda and Rubiales, the likes of Patrick Guijarro, who is the holding midfielder of Spain this year. So, yeah, it's a very important game. Montse Tomé is a manager who has gathered a little bit of attention in the past because he's been very good with her choices. And I believe that if Spain wins it this time, the previous era is going to be left behind, because having won the Nations League in 2025 and potentially the Euro in 2025 is going to be a massive thing, yes.
You mentioned Patrick Guijarro there. She's a brilliant midfielder, a metronome in the Spanish midfield. She completed over 100 passes in the semi-final. If England need to stop Spain, they need to stop her, but that's easier said than done, I guess.
Yeah, but I think that Patrick Guijarro is not only about passing, Barry. I also believe that he's very good at connecting very quickly with Alexia and Aitana, and then just perhaps giving an option, being in the right place. She can be very important to stop transitions. So I think that Patrick overall is an all-rounder, and I am very aware, and Spain is very aware too, of England's ability to do quick transitions, especially in the second half or even in extra time. So I think that Patrick's passing, but also her holding abilities, are going to be very important in this game. The midfield of Spain is brilliant. Aitana Bonmatí has won 2 Ballon d'Ors back-to-back. Alexia Putellas has won 2 as well. Patrick plays with them at Barcelona. They are just perfect. They play football perfectly. So I think that for England, it's very important to stop that connection, but it's not going to be easy, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you don't want to tell us, but how do you stop that midfield?
Difficult to say. Well, maybe we can ask Arsenal because they beat them in the Champions League final. So it's not impossible, but it's not easy. I also believe that Spain has other triggers, like, for example, Atenea del Castillo coming from the bench. She can change games. The strikers are very fast as well. Olga Carmona coming from the left-back position. She's capable of scoring. So Spain has many tricks in the box and many nuances tactically. But again, England doesn't look like they have that many, and yet they have stayed competitive throughout the years. And Sarina Wiegman has won the last 2 Euros. So for me, seriously, this is the biggest test Spain can face, and it's not going to be easy at all.
So expect Spain to have the ball most of the time and dominate possession. And sometimes they look, very dynamic with it. And Germany sort of stopped them a bit, didn't they? And it's sort of one of those games where they have a lot of the ball, but couldn't create as much as you expect them to. Do you think the Spanish will be nervous about the last 15 minutes when we bring Chloe Kelly and Michelle Adjumang on, and we start really just seeing, if you like, the ball getting launched into your box, which is, I presume, the Spanish defenders won't like?
No, they wouldn't like that. And England seems to be ultra comfortable, I would say, in this kind of situations. And therefore, dominating the game and scoring is going to be the main target of Spain. They have to convert the chances, obviously, because they produce many. Against Germany, they only converted 1. That's true. But the team show composure against Germany too. I think that England is capable of creating unwanted scenarios for Spain. Yes, that's very true. But Spain against Germany, or even so against Switzerland for most of the first half, Spain managed to compete in unwanted circumstances. So England is going to create these unwanted circumstances for Spain. I'm pretty sure about that. But Spain is also capable of competing in them.
If England win this tournament, they will probably, it will be a massive thing in England. They'll probably have a parade in London, etc., and so on. Are the Spanish women's team as popular in Spain, say, as the English team is in England, or is the game at that level?
I think, look, at national team level, Spain is becoming very big, right? But at league level, there is no comparison. There is no comparison at all. The English Premier League is great. And I think that a big reflection of that is the fact that many Spanish players are leaving La Liga just to join this competition in England. At national level, I think that the Spanish team is catching up. Strangely, and it's not their fault at all, they have been a bit of a polarizing unit or a polarizing entity, but it's not their fault. I say that again. But many people, and we know who they are trying to capitalize on, the Rubiales thing, how the guys misbehaved with Bilda, the previous manager. So in an unwanted way, they are polarizing. But when you are polarizing, it's because there are people against you and people with you. So the people who are with them, and I start to believe that a little bit of a majority of the Spanish population are backing them. So the national team is getting big. My only concern is that at club level, all the success that Spain is getting, because even finishing second in this tournament is going to be a success. At club level, I think that La Liga is faltering a little bit. There is, I can see a tendency in the coming years for a Madrid and Barcelona rank to start, okay, because Real Madrid is getting better and Barcelona is going to be good, but they need a step up. They need a step up. More teams, more investment, definitely. Maybe, maybe more money from the TV rights, something that in England you guys do very well.
Shifting attention to the men's game, Alvaro, Barcelona tweeted a picture of Marcus Rashford playing football in a Barcelona kit, which is a surprise to a lot of people. How's that signing gone down?
Well, the signing of Marcus Rashford was a surprising one in Spain, but if you think about it, it may make sense from the point of view of getting a footballer who can play in a few positions in attack. And last season, Barcelona was a little bit scarce of players going forward. They had only 4, really, because Ferran Torres was the second choice striker, but other than that, there was no one else. And Marcus Rashford can do that at a certain level, can play in Lewandowski's place, can play in Rafinha's place. Last night he played against Vissel Kobe. He didn't do much. He got a good chance. He didn't score it. But, Hansi Flick has been capable of reigniting the careers of the likes of Rafinha or even Frankie de Jong, I would say. So maybe he can do the magic with Marcus Rashford, but it will entail a lot of work, really.
And will Barcelona, because they keep pulling these levers, I don't understand how they can afford anything. I was sort of told many years, a few years ago that's it. They've pulled all the levers and they'll have no money. But part of me just thinks they'll always be fine because they're just too big an institution to face any real consequences. Or will will in 5 years or 10 years or something it all come home to roost and they just won't be able to afford anything?
Look, I don't know about that. What I do know is that Laporta became the president of Barcelona in 2021. And he hasn't corrected all this situation. Every summer when we speak about transfers related to Barcelona, we're talking about the same thing. Will this player be registered or not? And Joan Laporta in 2021, he made a very strong decision, and we'll remember that, which is not keeping Messi, all right? That was supposed to free a lot of salary for new players and all that, but it hasn't happened that way. So you wonder what's going on there, why Barcelona cannot correct this situation, what's the depth of the debt they have. And, I don't see any solution going forward. Look, in January, we have to remember that it wasn't La Liga who said Barcelona registering Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. It was the Spanish government. But for how many more times can you play that card? That's the thing. I think Barcelona will find a way to register Marcus Rashford and, the new players. But probably we won't know until the deadline, which is not very serious either. It's not very serious.
Yeah. All right, listen, Alvaro, thanks so much for coming on. Enjoy the game. Not too much tonight, but enjoy it all the same. Thanks for your time, pal.
Thanks, Alvaro.
Thank you.
Alvaro Romero, Spanish football expert, commentary of the final, of course. 5 o'clock kickoff live on talkSPORT. Max and Barry with you for another 10 minutes or so. Justin Morehouse will join us for guest the attendance in a sec. like what the DJ's done recently with the music on this show, Barry. So you've packed away your computer, taking your headphones off. Do you phone in, guess the attendance? You'd never guess, would you? I quite like this sort of new vibe that we've got, even more relaxed.
I can't say I've noticed any sweeping changes or swinging reforms to the show music
It's still
policy.
reggae, but
it's just ska, two-tone reggae.
And we will stick with that for the next season, do you think?
Oh, would you like to take it in a new direction?
Maybe sort of.
Didn't we
90s.
try big band once?
Yeah,
I
big
quite
band.
like that.
Okay, I'd sort of think 90s house.
Oh no,
no,
that's too energetic
sort of
for
entrance,
that.
set you free. That'd be quite good. Start the show with that. Anyway, let's go to Old Trafford. Are England closing in on victory, Nick Ellaby? Probably that sounds a bit too positive, but that was a massive wicket of Shubman Gill just before lunch. And if they could have got Jadeja in the next ball, that would have been marvellous.
Yeah, afternoon, Max. Closing in on victory, is a little bit too optimistic, I think, at the moment. India 223 for 4. They trail England's first innings total by 88. Washington is on 21 off 67 balls. Jadeja still on 0. That big off Archer on 103. He was looking imperious until the new ball came. Ravi Jadeja, as you mentioned, was then dropped first ball by Joe Root at first slip off Archer. Archer not happy at all, but getting that new ball to move around a bit. Ben Stokes with the other wicket this morning. KL Rahul trapped LBW for 90. The big question really for India is, can they hang on for 2 sessions? What kind of state is Rishabh Pant's foot in? He's been seen on crutches today. He didn't come out to bat at number 5. We could see him later on if a draw is still possible. I know you're doing what are the odds today. Well, the odds of an India win are 1% at the moment. They've got to try and bat out 2 sessions here with the ball's still pretty new, over 10 overs old. India 224 for 4. England needs 6 wickets, possibly 5 if Pant doesn't come out. India still trail England by 87, batting to save this 4th test match and the series.
Thanks, Nick. Quite hard to bat on crutches, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you'd have to hold the bat and the crutches.
Well, you could bat one-handed.
Yeah, but maybe you're not allowed a crutch.
Hobble down the crease with one crutch.
What's the rules on crutch? Because that just keep your balance.
Know.
What's the rules on crutches? Let us know. The second half just underway. Arsenal, Newcastle out in Singapore. Ian Abraham's watching for talkSPORT. Obviously, will be in a bit of a bad space given his performance in the footballer game. Have you noticed anything interesting from Arsenal or Newcastle so far, comparing to what you saw of them last season, to make, well, this is a thing?
No, nothing massively different. Still Arsenal 2, Newcastle 1, 11 minutes into the second half, although Arsenal yet to score from a set piece, which is what they were doing all through last season. The goals from Moreno and an own goal by Alex Murphy after Anthony Elanga had given Newcastle an early lead. By the way, 9 changes at half-time for Newcastle, just 1 for Arsenal. Ethan Wanieri going off for Martin Odegaard to come on, although Calafiori did go off injured early in the second half. Kivior was on for him. But no, nothing massively different, although I suspect Arsenal, once they Bukayo Saka with a scissor kick saved by Nick Pope on his line. I guess once Arsenal's 6 new signings are all up and running and in and around the squad, we might see something a bit different from them, especially now they've got a centre forward for the first time pretty much since Aubameyang left the club. For Newcastle, not really. They're just sort of really feeling their way into pre-season, and I guess obviously without their leading light Alexander Isak, until they work out what they're going to do if and when he leaves the club. I'm not quite sure how Eddie Howe progresses Newcastle, but at the moment Joel Linton's looked bright after coming on at half-time, but it's still Arsenal 2, Newcastle 1.
Very much. Just time for Guess the Attendance. Today, top journalist Barry Glendenning takes on top comedian Justin Morehouse. Welcome, Justin. Where do we find you?
Oh, I forgot I was supposed to be doing this with you today.
All right.
I'm at the cricket.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. Have you gone outside, or are you still there? Are you watching the? Are you building a tower of a snake of plastic pint glasses?
No, I'm on the stairs.
Oh, good. It's exciting. Do we have the rights?
Did you see the guy who was at the cricket yesterday? He was on his stag do, a bald guy, and he was wearing a Michael Van Gerwen shirt.
Oh, good.
And his mates were all dressed as dartboards. But the cameras kept going to him, and the whole crowd were singing the Michael Van Gerwen song. And every time they sang it, he had to neck a pint. And I'd say he had to be stretchered out of the place because he was.
It's not, when the peer pressure hits, yes, Justin.
I came on the opening day, and it's only left about 4 or 5 renditions of the. There's my son.
Hello, Minnie Morehouse.
Minnie Morehouse.
There's only left 4 or 5 renditions of Gary Newman's Cars on the trumpet. I realised they did that for Cars.
Oh, I see. Yes, good. Well, I was
This is strange synth 80s pop we're playing here. I was mismatching. Anyway, get on with it.
Yeah, we can get on with it.
We've got an actual reporter at the cricket, Justin. You can't do his job. There are rules, union rules.
Yeah. Well, I was at Headingley in the party stand or something, and then I had somebody notice me, and then a whole crowd of people singing, "I've never seen Max Rushden down a pint, but I have too much willpower." And every time I got a full pint, I'd just get there and I'd go, "Whoa," and then I'd just have a little sip and sit down. But a friend next to me, Jeff, felt so much peer pressure that he downed a pint on my behalf. He couldn't stand it. And there was an old man with grey hair who looked nothing like Jeremy Corbyn, but they kept calling him Jeremy Corbyn, saying, "I've never seen Jeremy Corbyn down a pint." And then this poor 70-year-old man, who I probably hadn't downed a pint for 40 years, downed a pint. It took about half an hour, the poor guy. Anyway.
He did it for egalitarian purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Let everyone drink at their own pace, people. Right, here we go then, everybody.
Wait,
Yeah.
I'm aware that you have a correspondent here. I'm not pretending to be that. I am, as you know, I'm literally the warm-ups arts correspondent.
Yeah.
I only report on fine art.
Of course. No, you do, right. You do it well.
And stand-up comedy.
Yeah, of course. Hey, stay where you are. There's been another goal between Arsenal and Newcastle. Ian Abrahams.
Equaliser for Newcastle, Arsenal 2, Newcastle 2. I'll keep it brief. Half-time substitute Jacob Murphy had the season of his life last season, has fired one past David Raya, who's now been replaced on the hour mark by Kepa, who's coming on. Max Dowman also coming on the hour mark, and so too Gabriel Martinelli. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 2.
Thank you very much, Moose. We begin guess the attendance at the Stade de Genève in Geneva. The referee, Ivana Martincic of situations whereabouts unknown. It's just not on the paper. She refereed England 2, Italy 1 in the semi-finals of Euro 2025. And the winner from Chloe Kelly, of course. But how many were there to watch the Lionesses march through to the final of Euro 2025? Justin.
25,921.
25,921. Barry.
25,920.
26,539.
Come on.
You just need an attendance to go in off your backside. Justin 1, Barry 0. We go to the Stadion Letzigrund, which I don't know where that is. Zurich, maybe? Referee Edina Alves Batista, of whereabouts unknown, not on the paper. Germany 0, Spain 1. Bon Mati's brilliant extra-time goal, 113th minute, putting the Spanish through to the final of Euro 2025, where they will face England. But how many were there at the Stadion Letzigrund? Barry, you're one down.
25,921.
25,921.
25,922.
22,433. For those not watching on YouTube, genuine emotion there from Barry Glendenning. As Morehouse Jr. watches his dad
say numbers
into a phone.
He hasn't. He's gone back to his seat. He's been replaced by a nursing mother.
That's well, and this is exciting times as we get reports from inside Old Trafford and the stairwell of Old Trafford 2 as unsuspecting passers-by are broadcast live onto talkSPORT's YouTube channel. Do we have the rights for that? I don't know. Don't sue us, Michael Atherton. Here we go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The 25th of May 2025, last game of the season. Ange's last game in charge of Spurs. A celebration atmosphere as they paraded the UEFA Cup and then got tonked 4-1 by Brighton. But how many were there at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the last game of the Premier League season there last season? Justin.
58,984.
58,984. Barry.
58,985.
61,449. A shock lead for Barry Glendenning. He leads 2 points to 1 in this best of 5. Guess the attendance. Justin Morehouse live at Old Trafford. Live sport everywhere. You don't get more sport than talkSPORT or whatever our catchphrase is. To St Mary's.
Yes. I think we're going to answer the question. can he do it on a stairwell on a Sunday?
That's true. On a balmy stairwell in Manchester. We go to St Mary's. Darren Bond of whereabouts unknown, not on the paper, refereed Southampton 1, Arsenal 2. The last day of the Premier League season again. A winning goal in the last minute from Martin Ødegaard. Does that mean he'll score many this season? Who knows? But how many were there to watch the game? Barry at St Mary's says Southampton bowed out of the Premier League.
36,000 bob on.
Justin.
35,999.
He shakes his head. Dismissive shake of the head from Morehouse there. 31,289. It's 2 apiece. It's what we all want in Guess the Attendance. It's a Guess the Attendance.
It's not what I want.
That is known as a classic game. It's 2 apiece. It's all on this. It's all or nothing for these 2 fine competitors, 2 of the best purveyors of attendance guessing the world has ever seen. And we go to the King Power Stadium. Andrew Kitchen, no relation of Trevor Kettle, of whereabouts unknown, refereed Leicester 2, Ipswich 0. Jamie Vardy's 200th goal for Leicester. Where's he gone, Vardy? Anyone know? Maybe it's happened. I haven't been following. He was there as Leicester bowed out of the Premier League, and Ipswich did as well. What a relegation fest it was at the King Power. But how many were there? This for the win. Justin Morehouse.
29,600.
29,600. Barry, this could make or break your weekend.
Come on.
The tapping, the mouse framing.
The mouse is back, hammering up another portrait of me. 29,599.
The attendance for Leicester City 2, Ipswich Town 0. This for the win. Will Justin Morehouse barrow his way back? And it says, wait till the over, as the steward will let you in when the over is done on the stairwell at Old Trafford. Or will Barry have a spring in his step as he wanders back
just get
to
on with
Brixton
it
this afternoon? The attendance of Leicester 2, Ipswich 0, 31,986. It is, ladies and gentlemen, a win for Justin Morehouse. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Justin. Thank you, Barry.
Go away.
Go away. Go away, everybody. Unless you want to listen to Ollie Klink and Leanne Sanderson at the Box Park coming next.